Hello my friends, welcome back to another video, or if you're new here, welcome in. My name is Ian with Out of This World Reader, and today's video is going to be my September TBR. And this month is really weird here in Colorado. It almost falls in between two seasons. Summer and fall often clash at times, so we'll either have like 90-degree days or snow. So it's all, this TBR is just based off of what I'm expecting from the weather, so all that will kind of play into these picks that I've selected, as well as kind of series that I'll be continuing on with and starting some new ones. But I think without further ado, let's just get into everything that I plan on reading in the month of September. First up, we have the conclusion to the Farseer trilogy with Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. And I'm a bit scared to continue on with the series. I'm getting ready to start Royal Assassin here pretty soon, and I have a feeling from what I've heard that it just continues to get more heartbreaking with each book. And the conclusion to the Farseer trilogy is just the worst out of all of them, with heartbreak. So I'm a bit worried to see how Fitz will end up, but I know from the rest of the books continuing on in the Realm of the Elderlings that we continue to follow Fitz. So I know that he's making it out, but I'm a bit worried for all the other side characters and how he will kind of, this emotional trauma that he'll go through, that'll put him on this course for the rest of his life. But I can't wait to continue on with this final book and then get into, I think it's like the Mad Ship trilogy or something, the Live Ships Traders trilogy. I really want to get into that one because I'm a big fan of nautical stories, and just the whole premise of that series sounds right up my alley. So this I'll be picking up in September, and then I plan on continuing on with the Realm of the Elderlings in the later months. And then also continuing on with a legendary series, I will hopefully be picking up The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is the second book in the Lord of the Rings kind of bind up, and I'm getting ready to start the Fellowship of the Ring, and I'm so excited to get into more of Middle-earth. I absolutely fell in love with kind of the little slice that Tolkien kind of gave us in The Hobbit. I loved everything about that, and I have a feeling that the Fellowship of the Ring is going to take a big step up, and I can't wait to get into more of Middle-earth. And for the first time, with wide eyes, just going in, not knowing a thing. I haven't seen any of the movies, and I feel like this has just been a blast. And I can't wait to get into more of just this trilogy and then the rest of the works that kind of incorporate within Middle-earth. I have a feeling this is going to go down as a top series, a top favorite series of all time, just based on how much I loved The Hobbit. And then as a little bit of a palate cleanser between like these huge books, I'm not even towards the bottom of this. This is going to be just a blast of a month, I already know it is. One of the kind of palate cleansers in between is going to be Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. This has been on my, I think it was on my summer TBR, and I absolutely love the Studio Ghibli film, but I have never read the book, and that is a crime because of how much I loved that movie. So I really want to kind of read this and then rewatch the movie, because I could just rewatch that 1,000 times. I just love everything about that. But I really want to read the book as well. So I'm also curious to see how faithful this the adaptation is to the book, but we'll see how it goes with Howl the Moving Castle. And the last physical book that I have currently on my for sure to be read next month is Malice by John Gwynne. The Bloodsworn saga is one of my favorite series of all time. That's not even completed yet. The Hunger to the Gods I picked up this year. Absolutely outstanding. It was 5 stars, but I haven't read The Faithful and the Fallen, and this is already completed. It's a quartet, and then there's another trilogy set farther off in time, I believe, and everyone praises this with the character work and just the kind of Celtic against the Romans, the Britons, and all that. And that is one of my favorite time periods to kind of learn about Boudica and all that, and I can't wait to just get more into John Gwynne's works. This is a big one, but I have a feeling from what I've heard that everybody kind of seems to kind of breeze through these. I love the action sequences that there were in the Bloodsworn saga, and I have a feeling that that is going to kind of be very similar in here. I've also heard that these books are pretty heartbreaking as the series continues on. There's an animal companion in here that sounds just a blast. and the characters are some of people's favorites, so I can't wait to get started and binge read this whole quartet this year. And a book that I currently don't have yet is Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio, which is the second book in the Sun Eater series. I said series this time, I always say trilogy for some reason. But this is a space opera, and I've kind of been switching between this Sun Eater series and then the Expanse series. And I'm currently reading the Expanse this month, so I'll pick up the Howling Dark next month. And I enjoyed what Christopher Rocchio kind of introduced within Empire of Silence, but I also had a bit of a kind of nitpicks in that middle chunk. Loved the beginning and the end, but I felt like that middle was a bit much for me. But I have a feeling from what I've heard from my booktube friends and other reviews that I've seen, that it continues to kind of improve with each book. So I'm really hoping that Howling Dark takes a big step up, and I have a feeling that it will, just based on how it ended and where I have a feeling it's going to lead. And I believe the 5th book is coming out here pretty soon, so if you really want to get into the series, definitely start getting going right now, and you can binge the whole series before that 5th book comes out. I'm not sure how many books are planned to be in this series, but regardless, I can't wait to get back into the Sun Eater series. And finally, I have been waiting on this book forever from my library. I don't know, they keep pushing back my loans. I swear they hate me there. I return all the books I get, but I don't know, they just have a grudge against me. But this is the conclusion to the duology. I think it's called like The Wildwood by Hannah Whitten, and it is For the Throne. I read For the Wolf last year, and it's kind of like a mix of like a Beauty and the Beast, a little bit of Red Riding Hood based on just like the characters' names, and being offered to the wolf in the dark forest. So it's got a lot going on, and I really enjoyed it. And I feel like it could have been kind of left off as a standalone, but I'm very curious to see how it kind of will finish off in For the Throne, based on how it ended. And finally, if fingers crossed, if my loan will come in next month, I will be picking that up, and I have a feeling that it will kind of be perfect for kind of this change of season, if Colorado cooperates. I don't know, the whole world kind of has heat waves going on, so we could be just going through summer for the rest of the year. You just never know. But I'm hoping that I can pick up and conclude the Wildwood duology with For the Throne. And then I'll also be listening to quite a few different audiobooks over the month. And the first one is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I was going to read this physically, but then I saw a video on Becca and the Books channel, and she listened to this physically, and she listened to this as an audiobook, and she really enjoyed how it was like a full cast and it included sound effects, so I thought it would be perfect to follow and pick it up as an audiobook. So hopefully also my loan will come in next month. I really want to get into this. I checked out Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff, and while that was adult and very graphic, and while this is a sci-fi and a young adult, I'm very curious to see how that will kind of carry over. And I've also heard some great things about this series, but I'm not sure if that kind of praise continues on with each book. But regardless, it has a very interesting setup to me, and we'll see how it all goes next month if my loan comes in. And then another one that I think was also on my summer TBR is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I really want to listen to this and then watch them both, maybe like the older version of the movie and the newer version of the movie, and see how it kind of compares. But this is considered like a classic, and I really want to check out more classics. That was one of my goals for this year. But you know me with those, I just never seem to stick with them. So I've heard great things about this, and just the kind of the family dynamics that are included between kind of these sisters and like the little brother, and just a family in general. So I'm really hoping that will kind of help me with my own writing. I'm also including a little bit of a family dynamic within my novel and my series. So I'm hoping that this will kind of help me, as well as just give me a great reading listen and a little bit of an inspiration to check out more classics. And then to make this TBR even more ambitious, you always know me, I decided to kind of include a couple different books to, if I have time, or if kind of just a little bit of my mood changes or anything like that. And the first one is going to be Agincourt by Bernard Cornwell. I'm already finished with The Last Kingdom. It turns out that was based on the Saxon stories by Bernard Cornwell. So I really want to kind of check out this. I think I saw a review on Alex with How Guy Reads. He did like a whole historical fiction recommendations, and this was on here. And this is also based on, I think, or it has an adaptation on Netflix called like The King, and I love that movie, so I think that this will kind of just give me a little bit of a glimpse into Bernard Cornwell's kind of writing style and just what he's got going on. And this is also an inspiration for some of my favorite authors I know, even though I haven't read the Song of Ice and Fire, and George Martin really enjoyed Bernard Cornwell as well as John Gwynne. So I'm hoping that this will kind of give me a little bit of a taste of what he's got going on within his different works, and then I can pick up the first book, The Last Kingdom, within the Saxon story, so that I can continue on with the series on Netflix, because I absolutely loved it. All of the episodes, in my opinion, in the first season were 5 stars, and the way that it ended just broke my heart. So if anything, I think that this one will most likely, regardless, get read next month, because I really want to continue on with this series, but I really want to read the books first. And this next fantasy, I think, was also on my summer TBR, and it is a self-published work, and it has got so much praise over these last couple years that it's kind of been on my TBR and just radar for some time now. And I really want to pick it up at least before 2023, and that is The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong. I really, like, Patrick really enjoyed this. I think he actually has he has a little blurb on the back, and just based on his review and everyone else's, like, I think this is also was on like the fantasy best list, like bestseller or just best rated list on Goodreads. And it sounds so interesting just based on the kind of the Asian inspirations, as well as kind of just this mother and son relationship. So like, I really want to get into it next month, but if not, before the year is over. And the last one is another thick book, and it is Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. I just finished up Last Argument of Kings, which is the 3rd and final book in the first trilogy, which is called like the first Law trilogy. And I was planning on taking like a little bit of a break from Joe Abercrombie to kind of check out some other books, but just based on how the Last Argument of Kings ended, I just can't. And I really want to kind of pick up the standalones. I think there's 3, as well as kind of like a short story collection, before branching out into his later on kind of trilogy within the First Law world. And I would like to get started with the standalones with Best Served Cold. I don't know what's going on with it, and I don't need to know. I think Joe Abercrombie has become an auto-buy author, and I have a feeling that just based on how much I loved the First Law trilogy, that will carry over into the standalones and the rest of his works. I'm not sure which of the standalones is the favorite among other readers, but regardless, I have a feeling that they're all going to get 5 stars from me. But that is going to be all for this very large TBR. It'll all kind of be based on my mood. These are kind of what I'm feeling now, but if the weather changes tomorrow, it could be completely different, and I could be reading something entirely different. But these are what I'm feeling like reading currently. But that is going to be all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next adventure. But it is time for Ellie to come on here and first wish you all to have a splendid day. But she also says that adventure is out there. So I'll catch you next time. Bye.